guys, Punisher88 here. So, it being Saturday, you guys know that it's time for the weekend review. Well, today's weekend review is pretty special. No, it's not, a 100th episode or anything like that. When I say it's special, I mean it's special because of the book I'm reviewing. I'll fill you in on that. Yesterday, I posted on the Punisher88 Facebook group page. Sorry, I posted the three options for today's video, and they were for the second week in a row, hit number one. Then I posted a book called The Golden Age, Part 1. It's part of a four-part mini-series. It's from DC. It's an Elseworld story. So, and pretty good. I'm missing issue 3, but one of my stores that I go to, it's been put aside for me. So when I get it, maybe I'll do a couple videos just for those books. Anyway, so I did that, and then the third book I picked was I came about it putting some of my current stuff away. I was putting some stuff in my long box, and it was right on top of one of the piles that I moved out of the way. And since I never covered any of his stuff before, I figured I'd throw it into the mix just to see if I got any votes for it. And it's Iron Man issue 128. And so that was the three options. I posted it on the page, and basically it was one of those, now I'll wait to see what you guys want to see. Well, the last two times I posted a poll question like that, well, this is actually only the second time, I realized the mistake I made. I only posted it in the group page. So I realized after only getting one vote for today, I realized the problem, and basically it was only people in the group saw it, and I forgot to click share, so a lot more people can see it. Don't worry, I'm still getting the hang of it. That's why. But now I know. So for Thursday, I know what to do. But anyway, so when I got up tonight before coming to work, I checked the page and I saw that I had one vote. And I'm very happy which book this person voted on. So for today's review, I am reviewing Iron Man number 128. Isn't that beautiful? This is a very key issue when it comes to collecting Iron Man stuff. This is this story is where Tony Stark becomes he reaches his peak of his alcoholism and everything, and for any collector, or collector, fan, whatever, who's really into Iron Man, this is one of the key issues to get. Some other key issues for Iron Man are issue number 1, of course, but in very good shape. And issue number 1 of Iron Man is expensive. I saw a pretty roughed up copy on eBay just earlier today, and I think the guy was asking like $42 for it, and I was like, oof, I don't know. Another very, very expensive key Iron Man book is issue 55. And the reason why it's a very key book And the reason why it's so expensive is because it features the first appearance of not one but two characters. It features the first appearance of Thanos, and it also features the first appearance of Drax the Destroyer. And the book now is, I saw on eBay earlier, ranging between like $320, and then I saw one in like 9.6 grade for like $1,400, and I was like, wow. But the reason why it's become so expensive is, well, due to the big fame of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie and everything. So, whenever an issue with a first appearance of a character who's been made into a Marvel movie, well, the price of the book is gonna go way up. So, mind you, I would still love to own a copy one day, but I'm not looking for it right now. I'll wait to see if the price goes down. Hopefully eventually. I mean, heck, I'm still waiting to find a cheap copy of Hulk 181, but I'm not holding my breath too much on that one. And for those of you who are wondering what's so spectacular about Incredible Hulk 181, that's the first full appearance of Wolverine. Yeah, the ones out there who know, you guys know. Anyway, so on to the review of the book. Like always, especially when it comes to the older books, the covers. Love the covers. And even before I got this book, even when I was still early on, like collecting comics and stuff, sorry guys, I've always loved this cover. Remember I was saying in which video was it? Oh, when I did the video for Detective Comics 566, and I mentioned that the cover of that book was on like a top 10 list of like my favorite comic book covers. Well, this cover is also on that list, and it's one of my favorite covers. And so yeah, when I got the book, I've always wanted to read it. So when I got to read it tonight, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So basically, well, the story is, it's a reflection story. It opens, you see Iron Man. He's sitting alone in his office. Well, Tony Stark sitting alone in his office, and he's got a bottle of booze out, and you could tell he's tanked already. And he's sitting there, and he has the Iron Man helmet on his desk, and it's just him talking to the helmet, and he's reflecting. He's always like, he's like, I thought I thought I understood you and everything. And he's basically talking about the pressure he's going through of trying to get rid of his actual identity of being Tony Stark and focusing more on being Iron Man. And he talks about how a lot of other superheroes, they do it like that, but he has so much trouble trying to do that. And so it goes like that for a bit, and then what is it? He gets he gets a call that there was a big accident. There was a train accident, and So as he flies off, like it mentions, he flies off a little weird because he's drunk, and so he goes to help them out, and he lifts up this big freight car full of chlorine, and he's all like, "Yeah, don't worry, I can help." And he goes to move it, and he doesn't realize how heavy the freight car is. And you see, he mentions, oh, I didn't check, blah blah blah. I didn't check how heavy it was and all that, and he drops it, and when it happens, all the cops around, they're all like, everyone take cover, all this stuff, because the chlorine gas in the tanker car, it's deadly or whatever. And so while all this confusion's going on, you see Iron Man, he's just hovering there, and even though he's drunk, they say that the reality of what just happened, like, sobered him instantly, and for that brief amount of time, and then all of a sudden, like, reality kicks back in again, and he just, he gets all discouraged and he flies off. And when he gets back to his place, and the first thing he runs for the bar, and he starts, he he runs for the bar and starts putting the drinks back, and then um, a friend of his name, what's her name, Beth or Bethany or whichever, and she comes in to talk with Tony Stark, and you know then it starts the sort of sobering up intervention part of the book, main part of the book, and like when she goes to see Tony, and she sees him drinking, and she's all like, you know, um, even I can tell that you need a friend right now, and all this stuff, and Tony Stark's all like, yeah, I could stop when I want, and then his friend Beth, she goes into but when she was married, and she starts talking about her husband, late husband, about how he went through the same thing, but instead of alcohol, he turned to pills. And when she tried to, get him to stop or whatever, he would, go on this rampage, and he would tell her, oh, I could handle it, blah blah blah. And then she mentions how one day he lost control of his car, and he got killed. And she's like, the police never determined if it was a heart attack from working too hard, which is a trait of Tony Stark. He's a very hard worker, or a workaholic, or if it was slow reaction from all the pills he was taking. Or in Tony's case, it's alcohol he drinks, and she doesn't want it to lead to something like that. So, and then you just see Tony there, he's with his glass and that, and then finally Beth is all like, why do I even bother? You're not even listening to me. It's no use. And then she goes to walk away, and then Tony Stark basically just, he breaks down. He's all like, help me, And then you see there's this like chain of events of the sobering up process, and you see Tony Stark at first starts out okay, and then Beth mentions, then the hard part really started, and you see like Tony Stark's freaking out, and how she's like holding the bottle away from him, he just wants to grab it, he flies off the handle a lot, and he goes nuts pretty much, and but then that's all because he's sobering out, getting the booze out of the system, So it goes through that for a while, and then from the previous issue, which I have, but I didn't think at the time of doing this to review issue 127 first, but we find out in here that Tony Stark kind of blew up at Jarvis, Jarvis is his butler, and so Tony Stark kind of blew up at him, and in the last issue, Jarvis resigned, and well, we get to the part where Tony Stark he comes home, he went out, and then he comes back, and you see he's talking with Jarvis, and he apologizes to him, and he's all like, if I could do anything to get you to stay here, just name it. And then Jarvis is like, oh, it would be an honor to stay here, like as an employee of yours. So they're talking and everything. It's all going good. And then all of a sudden, Jarvis mentioned something about when he left, Tony Stark gave him, I think it was two like like stock shares in Stark Industries, and when Tony Stark first comes to see Jarvis, we see him packing up and everything because we find out he's leaving to go see his mother because she's very sick and everything, and that's where Tony Stark mentions about if he could stay, blah blah blah, and then just after that, Jarvis mentions to Tony Stark, he's like, you remember those stocks you gave me? And he's like, yeah, of course. And he goes, well, in all the commotion that happened, and with my mother needing, you know, another surgery, and with medical bills and that, he sold the shares for the money, and then through a dark time, he did it in a way through like a loan shark and everything. And Tony Stark, he gets all panicky. He's all like, oh, yeah, I'll take care of it and everything. And he tells him, phone the company you went to where you sold the shares, and try and get them back. And then you see Jarvis phones them, and basically we find out that Jarvis got screwed because they were sold to another company. And so then Tony Stark gets all ticked off, so he gets into the Iron Man suit and goes to the actual company that Jarvis sold those shares to. And so Iron Man busts in, and he's all like, I'm here on behalf of a friend of mine named Mr. Jarvis. Um, I demand those shares back and everything. And he goes to hand the guy this big wad of money. And after, not kind of like threatening him and that, the guy tells Iron Man, he's like, I'm really sorry to hear about what happened, but he's like, but unfortunately, I really can't do anything. Those shares have been sold already to a big industrial company, and so then Iron Man, he's all like, oh no, an industrial company, and he was mentioning earlier that if Shield got a hold on those shares, it would give them a part ownership of Stark Industries, and so after Iron Man finds out that the shares were sold to this big company, he like barges out of the room, flies home, and as a last resort, uh, runs up to his bar, and he just grabs a bottle and he starts pouring a drink for himself. And Jarvis and Beth are there, and they look and they're all like, "Oh no, Tony, come on, what's the use and all that." And then Beth starts talking to him. She goes, you got a lot of people who care for you, and even through a little hard time, you're gonna throw it all away for one drink or whatever. And then finally, you see Tony Stark. He puts the bottle down, and he starts, contemplating and realizing what's going on in that. And he goes the good road, and he closes up the bottle, and he leaves. And the very end of the book is basically, you see Tony Stark driving away with his friend Beth, and he starts talking to her about how he feels like he was dealt a new hand pretty much, and and when Beth asks him, she's like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I feel so good right now. In the way I feel, it's like I feel I won." And then he just like, as cheesy as it may be, one of the very last panels, it's like he's driving off into the sunset, pretty much. So, and that's the end of the story. So, I liked it. I thought it was really good. Uh, I like how, and I don't mean just this. I like when any comic book does that, namely a superhero comic. I like when a run goes so long, and you get your the typical superheroes fighting the bad guy, a super villain, mutant, whatever, and then I like every so often when they they'll throw a story out there and it'll be a conflict, but there'll be like no supervillain or no mutants or whatever. It revolves around the main character, and if the writing is done well, well enough, it doesn't get to the point where where the story is boring because there's no supervillain in it, and that's what you get with this story. Well, the villain in this story is alcoholism, pretty much, you know, and yeah, it's the way the writing of the book, very good, and the artwork. I mean, you have Bob Layton, who's a very good artist. Uh, Mind you, I say artist because I saw him 2 years ago here in Montreal, and well, let's just say it seems like he knows that he's a good artist, so he has that kind of, you know, that iffy attitude towards a lot of stuff where he's all like, well, I dot dot dot, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's just me. I mean, other people out there, you guys might have a different opinion of Bob Layton, so, but from a artistic point of view, oh yeah, he's one of the best. He's fantastic. And then the other artist on this book, hold on, careful with this here. The other artist, oh, the other artist on this book was John Romita Jr., who, you know, very famous for his Spider-Man stuff. So you got a good artistic team there going. And this book came out in '79. So it is one of the older books that I own. It is not the oldest book I own, but one of. So yeah, the story's great. The artwork, top notch. Any Bob Layton Iron Man book, the artwork's great. Oh, excuse me. Again, the cover, one of my favorites. Um, Now, I do recommend this book. It gets my thumbs up. The only thing is, to actually buy this comic book, you might be dishing out a good amount of money. Now, that's if you find it like, in a near mint condition or something. Now, like I said, I was lucky enough to get this. Um, I got this in a stack of comics I bought off a guy on Craigslist for like $10, and this just happened to be in there. Now, I don't know if he realized what he was selling or he just wanted to get rid of everything, but like I said, I was lucky enough to get this in a big pile of Iron Man and other stuff. And but yeah, if you guys were just to go out and look for this one book, in good condition, like really good condition, this book could run you up to anywhere between probably $40 to $60. Because I was curious. I looked on eBay about for this book, and I saw it going between 30 to like almost $200. So when I realized that I got this in a stack of books, and probably, with the stack of books that I got, this thing was about maybe $2 for when I got it. I'm like, wow. So, but you don't have to worry, because there are other ways you can read this story. One is probably on Marvel's website with their digital comics. It might be in digital comic form. I don't know. Or I don't know. I don't really know how well the digital comic thing works. I don't know if that's only with newer stuff, or if you could read like older books as well. So don't take my word for it on the digital comic thing. But I mean, check it out if you can. If you can get a digital copy of it, go for it. Read it, because it's a good story. But another way you could read this story and actually own it is, Marvel put out, they changed the name of the book now. Now they're called the Epic Collection. But a couple of years ago, the books were known as Marvel Essentials, and they were in volumes depending on what title you were getting. And the Iron Man one, there's 5 of them. And yes, I have all 5. And the Marvel Essential Iron Man books, I forget which one. I think it's like volume 4, it might be. And issue 128, the story's in there, so you could read it that way too. And it's cool because, well, to me it's cool, I find, because the Marvel Essential books, all the artwork is black and white, whereas the Epic Collection, now they're in color. But with the black and white, I liked it because it was like I was reading the comic book, but then also it was like reading like a newspaper comic at the same time, So that's why I liked it in black and white. So there's a couple ways where you could actually read this story. Or if you find it and you want to dish out that money for it, well, to have it in your own collection, hey, go for it, man. But yeah, I recommend it, and if you guys could find it, give it a read. It's an awesome book. So so that's that. So if you guys stuck around till this long, and we're almost at a half an hour, I thank you guys. And just one little thing I wanted to point out once again. I know this is the 3rd time I'm mentioning it. My most viewed video on YouTube, me chilling with the guys from Epic Mealtime, has reached another highest viewing point. The last time I mentioned it, it was around 72 views, and as of about, say, an hour ago, I just checked, and it's now at 86 views. So it's climbing, and I thank you guys for that. So, and to the ones out there who haven't seen it, go check it out. So it's in my video list. So anyway, so I think I blabbed your ears off long enough. So I'm gonna leave you at this, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. So till then, the usual: like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. All right, laters, guys.